What's up YouTube, Jeff back again from DopeTechDaily.com. Today I'm bringing you guys part 2 of my two-part series comparing the Huawei P20 Pro and the Galaxy S9 Plus. Now if you didn't check out my first video, I ran down 5 reasons to buy the Galaxy S9 Plus over the Huawei P20 Pro. Today I'm going to talk about 5 reasons you might want to prefer the Huawei P20 Pro over the S9 Plus when making your flagship purchase. So let's go ahead and get right into it. As usual, I do have a Google Keep document right here with the important reasons, and we'll jump right into it with reason number 1. If you want to check out the text list, I will drop it in the description. So the very first reason here is battery life. Now the Galaxy S9 Plus does get really good battery life overall, and I do like the battery life on the Galaxy S9 Plus. It's around 5 to 5.5 hours screen on time, but for me, the Huawei P20 Pro just gets insane, crazy good battery life. Now, if you guys notice, I've been using this guy all day today, the P20 Pro, and if you look at the icon right there, you can see I've got 88% battery life left. I probably had the screen on today for about 45 minutes to an hour because I was teaching, but still very little standby battery drain. If you project that out, that projects out to well over 7 hours screen on time. I've been getting about 6.5 to 7 hours screen on time, which is easily an hour to an hour and a half more than I get out of the Galaxy S9 Plus in a similar day's use. So if you're looking for a battery life champ, the phone is, of course, if you look at it from the side profile, ever so slightly thicker than the Galaxy S9 Plus because of those tapered edges, but it does have a huge 4,000 milliamp hour battery in there, and it's definitely going to get you through it easily a day if you're using it heavy usage, and you can probably even get 2 days out of this if you're a more moderate user. So that's battery life, the very first one. The second thing is the camera. So obviously, the camera differences, if you look at the back, are pretty evident. You've got a dual camera on your Galaxy S9 Plus, whereas you've got the triple camera set up with a crazy 40 megapixel max sensor on your Huawei P20 Pro. Now the question is whether or not that triple camera really makes a difference in practice, and I can tell you that it does. Now this is not to say that the Galaxy S9 Plus doesn't have a great camera, because the S9 Plus does have a great camera. But if you actually take shots in low light using the night mode on the P20 Pro, it's definitely superior. So if you're willing to play around with some different modes, I would say the P20 Pro is the better camera. To give you guys some justification, I made a little album here which you can take a look through if you want, linked below. It's the S9 Plus versus the P20 Pro. I have a couple of shots that are comparison shots, and then I have a couple more that I took just with the P20 Pro. The first one is this car example I showed you guys in a video before. This is the P20 Pro versus the S9 Plus. Now a lot of people mention that while the S9 Plus does look a little bit sharper, this is with night mode off by the way on the P20 Pro, it's just a regular auto shot. You can see the P20 Pro doesn't add this yellow tint that the Galaxy S9 Plus does, and indeed if you zoom in, it's a little bit nicer in terms of the overall color profile and what it looks like in terms of being true to life in the scene. Now if you do turn on night mode, this is a photo I took with the P20 Pro using night mode. Look at the extreme difference in the quality. This was taken at night in the parking lot of my car. Very bright and also very detailed. So using that night mode, which basically takes a 4-second exposure, sort of pieces the data together, really gives you amazingly bright shots at night. You would think that the shot was taken in the daytime if you weren't looking at it. Now the other shot I took, which was a big comparison shot between the S9 Plus and the P20 Pro, is this shot of Arizona's sky at dusk right outside of my school where I teach in the parking garage. You can see here, these couple shots here we're taking with the Galaxy S9 Plus, and they are reasonably bright and do capture some of the details of the sky. But if you check out some of the shots that were taken with the P20 Pro, you'll notice the blue in the sky is really accentuated, and it's a very nice, pleasing shot. That is because of the AI capabilities in the Huawei P20 Pro camera. It recognizes a bunch of different scenes, and one of those is blue sky, and it pulls out some of those colors when you actually take the shot. Leads to a very nice picture of a painted sky, and I prefer it personally. There's a couple others I took here using the P20 Pro, again, versus what you see here with the Galaxy S9 Plus. Now again, this might just be preference, but I'll drop it below. You guys can check out the shots and see what you think. Also, the depth of field portrait mode on the P20 Pro is excellent as well, and it does a great job of getting nice bokeh in the background. Here's a shot I took also right off the parking garage. You can see very nice blurred background and detail on the subject in the foreground. The final shot, which I want to show you guys to just show you how amazing the night mode is, here's a photo I took of my Xperia XZ2, which is a dark green color, so it's really hard to see. I took it inside of a dark room in my house. This is taken with the Galaxy S9 Plus. I also took a shot with the P20 Pro in regular auto mode. Then I turned on night mode to take that 4-second exposure. Oops. to take that 4-second exposure, and this is what you get when you turn on night mode. So this is in a dark room. You can barely even make out the phone, the fingerprint sensor or anything. And if you go back to doing the night mode, you can see my hand, you can see the phone, all the detail, you can see the fingerprint scanner, see the camera, the flash, everything. So very nice, very impressive with that night mode. If you really want to use the features on the camera, the Galaxy S9 Plus might be the better point and shoot camera, but the P20 Pro is definitely better for those that want to take really advanced shots and also want to dig into what the camera has to offer. The next thing is a very simple one, and that's the IR blaster. So if you look at the top of the phone here, you'll notice that the Galaxy S9 Plus does not have an IR blaster. The Huawei P20 Pro has one right there on top. Now this is probably not a deal breaker feature for a lot of people, especially here in the US, but it is a very popular feature around the world, and it's one that I still really like. You can play around with turning on and off the TV or changing the stations when you're in a public place and they have a TV on. It's kind of a cool feature to have, and it's one that you don't see on many other phones, so if it's something you're interested in, it might be a reason to pick the P20 Pro up over the Galaxy S9 Plus because it's a feature that it simply doesn't have. The next thing is software. So I talked about software in the last video, and I talked about the fact that the Galaxy S9 Plus has a bit more toned down overall settings menu experience, and it's a little bit less bloated than EMUI on the P20 Pro. However, the P20 Pro does actually have a lot of nice features that are missing on the Galaxy S9 Plus. And perhaps one of the biggest ones is the one I talked about in my P20 Pro First 10 Things video. That is private space. So you can actually have two separate accounts that are activated by different fingerprints. So when I log in with my right thumb, it takes me into my main account. You guys see my Thanos wallpaper there. When I log in with my other finger, my thumb on my left hand, it takes me into my private space account, which has got the stock wallpaper, my stock settings, and everything. You see all the apps are different, everything like that. So you can actually store different accounts in here, all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. And that allows you to basically, if you want to share the phone with someone, you could do that. Or if you also want to use it for other, maybe more nefarious purposes, you can have an entirely separate private account. Maybe if you don't want your spouse or your significant other to see something, that's not how I use it, but it is an option. And then of course you can log in with your other thumb, go right back. So there's a lot of cool features like that Huawei has added on. They have a lot more privacy sort of and security options like private space, even that expand on the features that you might see on the Galaxy S9 or the S9 Plus. Pretty much every feature that I can think of wanting on the S9 Plus is also present on the P20 Pro, but you also get some cool features like that. In addition, because you have the home button on the front, you also get the one-button navigation where you can actually use the button to navigate everywhere. You can see there, I tap that button to go back, I press on the button to go home, and I can swipe on the button to open up my recent apps. So it's kind of a cool feature as well, and Huawei has done a lot to improve the number of features they have in their phone. If you want the phone with the most features, I would say the P20 Pro is definitely the one to pick between the two. And the final thing on my list, which is a very simple one, but it's one that will matter to a lot of people. This phone does not have a curved screen, first of all, which a lot of people don't like, and there's good reasons for not wanting a curved screen. The screen is much obviously flatter on the top, which means if you use a case, that it's a lot easier to first find cases, and also if you want a minimal case, for instance I have my Peel case here for the Galaxy S9 Plus, when you put this case on, the edges are still exposed because of that curvature. If you drop it, it's very likely you're going to still crack your screen if you want a minimal case. Now if you throw a minimal case on the P20 Pro, because the screen is flat, it's very unlikely that when you have the case on, because the edges will be raised up above the screen everywhere, that you would crack the screen or scratch your screen when you drop it. I've noticed firsthand over time when using my Galaxy S9 Plus that if I drop the phone, even on like carpet or somewhere in my house, I might get a little scratch or something along one of those edges. It's happened to me with many of the curved displays on the Samsung flagships. And then of course the last thing, which again not a deal breaker but something worth mentioning, the Huawei P20 Pro does not have a dedicated AI or assistant button like the Bixby button, and a lot of people don't like that button because it's easy to accidentally press the button and activate it. Huawei did not put that on here. All you've got is the stock power button, volume rocker, and that's it. So a couple of simplifying features there that might be interesting to you, that might appeal to you a little bit more. And so I think that's about it for my 5 reasons to get the Huawei P20 Pro over the Galaxy S9 Plus. Hope you guys enjoy it. I know a lot of people will agree, a lot of people will disagree. You can drop your comments below if you want to talk about it. Find me at dopetechdaily.com, Google+, Instagram, and Twitter. The links in the description. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification icon if you want to see future videos like this. Appreciate you guys checking it out, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.